Hello and welcome, fellow bookworms and film fans. Welcome to this week's episode of The Consented Narrative, where I'll be looking at Elevation by Stephen King. Now, this was only recently released, and most of Stephen King's works I enjoy. I'm not a huge fan of the Dark Tower series. Tommyknockers I couldn't stand. Honestly, could not stand. It took me so long to read, and I honestly wish I could burn it. I'd never burn a book, but I wish I could burn Tommyknockers. It was just horrific. But most of his books seem to be okay. They have good stories, as I said before in when I was reviewing later. You know, sometimes they have hints of like crime, sometimes it's more thriller, sometimes it's horror, sometimes it's just more of a personal aspect. Now, Elevation is about a guy called Scott Carey who is becoming weightless, but size-wise is exactly the same. So it's almost like, so obviously, you know, if you were 14 stone, you don't change how you look, but suddenly the next time you step on the scale, you're 13 stone, and then 12 stone, and 11 stone, and 10 stone. And basically, it just keeps going to that. And he keeps losing, like he's becoming weightless. So at one point as well, he's running a marathon that he would normally not be able to do. And he's still got the bulk of who he is, but his internal weight, as it were, is almost nothing. So he can run like he's running on air. And I thought for the most part the story is okay. He makes friends, you know, because he's very sort of like stuck in his ways, and then when this starts happening to him, he starts looking at other possibilities, at other lifestyles, at other people. He becomes very, you know, understanding and an ally to a lesbian couple that have moved in. And he's really like, he seems really like a nice character, but honestly, I was disappointed with this story. I was. It's not a long one. It's not a long one at all. The writing is huge, is absolutely huge. I think I got this done in maybe a day. I think it took me just about a day, because of the simple fact that I just didn't like it. I honestly just, yeah. But honestly, the whole book, right, let me just have a look at how many pages it was. Oh, sorry, that's the beginning of The Institute, and The Institute is a very good book. I thoroughly enjoyed The Institute. Right, okay, so Elevation is 132 pages, so it's nothing really. It's that. That's how much it is. But it dragged, and I didn't, and like it started off really well, and as I said, the characters I enjoyed, and I was like, oh, this is quite intriguing. Like someone's losing who they are, but they just sort of they just carry on, and it's just, I don't know. When it ended, I just was like, oh, it's over. Okay, great. It didn't stick with me. I didn't want to go back to it. I didn't want to find out what happened to the rest of the characters that were left behind. I didn't care. And I was really happy to just put it down and move on. And I feel a bit disappointed, because Stephen King has had rocky parts. And as I said, there's been a couple of books that I personally not a huge fan of. There's been some that I kind of like. Misery's a great book. I personally couldn't get into it. The film that was based on it is fantastic. But like Carrie, fantastic book. You know, I mean, as you can see behind me, I've got Stephen King, and then Stephen King behind Stephen King, and below that is Stephen King. So, you know, I wouldn't buy that many books if I wasn't a fan of his work. But this book just, I felt like he was phoning it in, and it sounds really strange to say that, but it's 132 pages, and by the end of it, you just sat there going, oh, right. Okay, what now? I wouldn't recommend this book. I wouldn't. I gave it, I think, 1 star. I was expecting more from it, and I think that's probably because of who wrote it. And I feel like if it was somebody, like if it was a debut author or something, I might have been like, okay, finding their feet and stuff like that. I know that people seem to love this book, Elevation, and there's a Stephen King group as well that I'm a part of, which is called the Losers Club on Facebook. So check them out, because, you know, funnily enough, all they discuss really is Stephen King. But it's a great platform to kind of see what other people are thinking. And people seem to really like the book on the Stephen King Facebook group, the Losers Club. I wasn't a huge fan. And I don't like not liking books. I really make an effort to enjoy a book, and I try and find good in it. But by the end of this one, I was just like, right, it's done, it's over. So as I said, 1 star to me. I wouldn't recommend this. I would recommend some of his other books, you know, so don't take that as a don't read a Stephen King, because I've done many Stephen King reviews on this channel for books and book to film adaptations. But of course, this is my own opinion. If you agree or disagree with anything that I say, please leave it below in the comments. Don't forget to click subscribe on my channel, and then you're alerted whenever a new video comes out. But thank you so much for watching, and remember to always keep it contento.